All right, our final presenter is Coach, I'm going to say your name wrong because I'm an idiot, Chamberlain.
You did not say it wrong. That's correct.
All
I have
right,
had it pronounced 1,000 ways, though, so good job.
I'm a country boy from a small town, so we don't speak very well. So
That's
my last name's Kaczewski, so you can only imagine.
Yes.
What
Yes.
I
have screwed up plenty of names on the podcast, man, and I always forget to ask before I hit record, and I'm like, oh, it's too late now. We're going in.
When I first started, I did because I was so worried, and then I got comfortable. So then I stopped asking. So then it becomes a joke. I'll go, as soon as the thing starts, I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot. I've done it a million times. But you're the final presenter of the day. I think you're number 8 for the day. I've done a lot today. Coach going to present some offensive stuff for us, and Coach, take it away.
All right, appreciate it, man. Guys, I'm Daniel Chamberlain. If you listen to very much football podcasting, that's where you'll know me from. I am the co-host of the football coaching podcast with Joe Daniel and the Coaching 101 podcast with Kenny Simpson. Two masterminds in the football world. Guys have been at it a long time, so I've been stealing stuff from them for about 4 years now, so it's been really good. But for tonight's stuff, I got to link up with Cameron Palmer, who's the offensive coordinator at Bristow High School here in Oklahoma now, and he just left from Bixby. So he'd been the Bixby freshman OC for a long time. And I don't know, Coach, if you know very much about it, but it seems like the whole nation's pretty hooked up with the Bixby offense. I mean, that's what happens when you average, I think they're like 48 or 54 points a game for 10 years. I mean, there's no loss of production there. So I bumped into them by playing against them. I was up at it was the freshman DC, and tried to stop that craziness, and it's not easy. So I had to communicate with them and figure it out. So I got to team up with them this year down at Bristow and had a lot of fun and learning the offense. But we're going to talk tonight about just using I consider it a very highly complex system of tags, but it makes football simple, kind of between the tackles, where I think it matters most. So, we'll get into that, and I'm going to streamline this a little bit tonight. First of all, I want to tell you this: not every play you're going to watch on this screen is a home run ball. Sometimes we get tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Sometimes we get tackled at the line of scrimmage, because we do a lot of these things and we have a purpose behind them. Motion, for instance, we want to get linebackers moving, but guess what? High school linebackers are terrible linebackers sometimes, and they don't do what you think they're going to do, right? Like it's like reading guards. I know it's the easiest way to teach a linebacker to fit holes, but sometimes guards pull the wrong way and they take your linebacker right out of the play. So, man, it's just the game of high school. So you're going to see some good plays tonight. You're going to see some that you're like, Jesus Christ, you put that on a clinic? Yes, I did. So just bear with me. Understand there is a method to the madness. We've had a lot of success with some of this stuff, and then we've watched it fall on its face, and it's kind of a good time all the time. I'm using Huddle's extension, the multi-screen extension. I don't know if y'all have that on your Google or not, but it is a pretty sweet Google extension. So I'm going to be looking at one screen while y'all are checking out the big screen on the other side. Hopefully it works out well. But we're going to get started here. The base play that I love the most, and it's not even the one that we ran the most at Bristow, but the base play I love the most is GT counter. Number one, because it gives you 2 linemen pulling. You get to fit basically like power counter like you would out of 11P, but you can do it out of 10. But I'm also a kind of an 11P guy. So it's just a lot of fun. We like to go to a lot of empty shifts. We're going to see some shifts tonight or some tags that gets us out into empty, doing a lot of crazy stuff. And our base play can still just be GT counter. I think it keeps the offense very, very simple for my guys up front. For the quarterback who has a few reads, but he can simplify that run game. And then all the athletes between the tackles. We let those kind of divas that don't like contact, that run a little bit, we let them have the complex stuff. And the mountain movers in the middle, we keep things very simple for them. So we're going to look at everything from the GT counter point of view tonight. And then we'll just kind of watch how we stack tags motion shifts, stuff like that. And then we'll kind of get into some of our super duper counter toward the end and kind of our read plays and stuff. So without further ado, we'll jump in here. So this is just going to be our base GT counter. It turns out we're actually running it out of 12P here. So this is our ace formation. So tight end, top and bottom of the screen there, and then twins hanging out there pretending they're going to get a football. Once again, 5 or 6 yards here maybe. We had a monster of a running back this year. An absolute dude. He is unsigned, so if you guys know any collegiate coaches that are looking for a dude at running back, there's one living in Bristow, Oklahoma, Darian Dansby, that can definitely get the job done for you. So, not a lot going on here. You do see we have an RPO up at the top. We're almost always going to have an RPO with our run game. We'll see some here in a minute, some reads, some throws, and this is just a simple bubble. So we're just going to try to block most dangerous with that number 1. We're going to bubble with number 2. Nothing too crazy, but really just looking at the GT counter here. Kind of another, I think it's actually the exact same team, still in 12P here, and we're still doing the exact same thing. A little bit more success, but once again, just a base GT counter. There's not a lot. Kind of the questions we get a lot of times, how do you handle, 4s and 5s and all that good stuff? We're going to let our center block back against 3 fronts. We're not a big double team in the gap scheme stuff. I just think high school kids get caught up on each other. You start splitting holes, and now, the running back sees one hole that's out wide, but your pulling guard or tackle sees a hole that's in tight. It just causes chaos. So I don't like double teams in gap scheme. I know that's not everybody's favorite answer. We've just had a lot of luck with it. So we're going to let him block all the way back. This time he does have a tight end to double with on that. I think it ends up being like a 5 or maybe a 4-eye. I don't know. And then our RPO, we're reading this outside backer who just sets on the bubble. So he's taking himself out of the run play. We're going to run away from him. Pretty basic GT counter there. So then we'll kind of look at the RPO game. And I've taken off snap, do a lot of motions, pre-snap motions, and it kept hiding them. So there'll be some times I got to fast forward to the film tonight. So here's just so we will RPO to the single receiver side here, and it is a play side RPO. So I know a lot of times in the game, the way people are answering RPOs is if you're to the back side, you're going to set and play patient. If you're to the front side, you're going to force right now. Okay, so that's an answer we get out of a lot of people. So we just started RPOing the front side. This corner is giving my quarterback a pre-snap read that he is off. He is a little bit inside, probably going to go play cover 3. And so my quarterback's taught, hey, man, if that's the RPO you want to take it. You often will see we still bubble the backside, but we're not all, if pre-snap tells us go away from that, we're not going to go all the way back over there. So you're going to watch GT counter working this way, and then we're going to RPO to the front side. So there's our GT counter. He just throws a little kind of like a pivot route or a whip route, if you will, RPO. That corner, and it kind of looks like maybe he was playing man or some kind of weird man too. I don't know what he's doing out there, but he's way too far off the ball for our guys. We're going to sneak a football in there. We're going to get our 4 yards, and we're going to move on with life. We got a couple quarterbacks this year. And so this film, you'll see some balls that aren't exactly quickly thrown. This team was coming out of the flex bone, and they didn't know what a quarterback was. That was not a letter on the field. And so we really had to develop that on the fly. So these guys are learning, once again, a very complex tag system, but they did it as truly first year quarterbacks. I mean, before that, they were just running backs that got the ball handed to them first. We'll look at it here again. Hopefully, some of these are the same play over and over. So we don't want to do that. All right, so we'll go on to our next RPO here.
It's still showing when you're in your trips and stuff. It hasn't changed screens or anything.
Oh, well, that might be an issue. Let me just present it a little bit different way here then.
Great technical difficulties tonight for...
that's okay. That huddle multi-screen, sometimes it's really good for you if you're statting and stuff. If you don't have that extension, get it. But obviously it's not great for presenting here. So I'm actually going to close it so it doesn't mess anything else up. All right. Can you see us in white and yellow pants now?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So once again, you're going to see a full house formation here. The formation really doesn't matter in what we're doing here. It's just we do tag up a ton of formations. We're still just going to be running GT counter to the front. Now you're going to see that we've sent our running back, who everybody's been keying for weeks. We're going to run him out there. We're going to give someone else a shot to run the ball. If our read key goes with number 1, which honestly that he should, as an absolute dude running out there. He doesn't, and so we just fling the ball out there. Once again, well, he actually ends up breaking this one and going for a little bit. But they made first contact like behind the line of scrimmage. Sometimes you got to let your dudes just be dudes. But if we can get the ball moving forward in our dude's hand out there, and he's now got a corner that's supposed to be the guy that tackles him, I'm going to take that 10 out of 10 times. That corner did not really want to make that tackle. But once again, it's just a simple RPO for us. All the big boys are mountain movers down here. Okay, they're just running a very base play, like you're going to see all night tonight. Block down, pull kick, pull wrap. Let's run GT counter. And so we're letting these cats that don't have as much. One had a ton of reps. He got hit all the time. Maybe not the best example here, but we're going to let these guys do the complex stuff. And honestly, that's just a tag for him. He doesn't care about the formation. He doesn't care about the play. If he gets the tag that he flares out there, then he just knows. And so we can kind of do it here with whatever play we want. Should be same game, same formation. Gonna flip it out there the other way. This way is a little bit better throw. Honestly, on the last one, I would have liked my corner to do exactly what he does here. Block up the guy that's kind of standing there and make this guy cover all that distance. Last time he came over and blocked the safety. And so we actually, contact was made behind the line of scrimmage. Once again, let your dudes be dudes. But all of this is really happening because number 1 has been toting the rock inside, and we've been running GT counter all night long. We've been running the rock. These guys are having to fill the box with people, and they're going to have to make some free safety run all the way out there with motion. Okay, so we've set this play up by being good at what we do on the inside. Now we let this play make GT counter be better. Okay, so now we got to worry about, hey, even when both those guys are pulling, I'm still getting an RPO away from it. So we're making people make a lot of business decisions. Fast forward through here. Sorry. Once again, some pre-snap movement, and we like to do that. In fact, we really want a shift and a motion on every single play. That would be like the best game plan. So here what we did is we take those same guys. Here's number 1 out here. Okay, so now you're keying my guy that ran for 2,600 yards this year, whatever he ran for, some ridiculous number of yards. You're keying him and where I'm putting him. And then, you can kind of watch what he does here. But we're getting motion behind it. He's just going to get downhill and block. But now we've made him your key, and we've sent this motion over here to set up to look at him as well. We're drawing all of your eyes here, and then we're just going to pitch it right underneath to who's been our H-back all night long. He catches a few passes, but he mainly blocks. And here we're just going to toss him the rock and let him go. Also a dude, also unsigned, I'm pretty sure. So if you need to make an offer he's more of a defensive end. That's where you should hire him. He's a monster on that side of the ball. But you can see GT counters in front of him. So for my offensive line, yes, I've got some complex tags going on. There was a pre-snap shift. There's pre-snap motion. Those are a lot of tags we use. We might have tagged 4, 5, 6 tags here. But these hog mollies up front who are exhausted are running base GT counter. We're not changing anything for them. And we just fling it to some dude and let him go. That's going to be the same play. And I think this is too. All right. All right, so we're back to the top of my RPO list. This is why it was easier on the other one, because we can kind of move. So let's check out motion, how we're using motion in our game to once again open up GT counter. Really, our idea here is to protect your base. So if your base is inside zone, if your base is GT, GH, duo, whatever you want to run, protect your base with a lot of other stuff. And so that's what we're doing with all this complexity. Okay, so this cat that's running across the field right now is probably our second best football player if it's the right one. I can't really read the jersey number tonight. My screen's pretty small. I'm away from the house. I'm on a mobile system tonight. But we use motion here. We get people moving. We get people talking. You can watch this linebacker. Okay, he actually motions or shifts away from the direction we thought he would, but it ends up being better for us. Whatever his cue was with this motion, he's not even biting on the kind of the fly sweep out here, right? Jet sweep. He thinks we're going to go opposite of it, and that's something we've set up over a couple weeks. We run jet, and we're hitting GT behind it or GH whatever. So he shifts away. He thinks he's going to be in the right, and now we're running GT directly to the jet sweep motion. And now that motion opens up a huge hole. So those kids, they don't know which one they're supposed to stop. Are they supposed to stop the jet sweep? Or are they supposed to stop this, 100 and, well, actually, I think he was 220 getting downhill right here, running back. So which one am I supposed to bite on, coach? You can see their force player. He's going to go take the jet. This linebacker is going to take the jet. This linebacker went the wrong way pre-snap because he thought he had some special cue. That's all we need is that little seam. We're gonna fit it and go to the house. Once again, the O-line is just running GT counter. They don't care about all the rest. I won't make you run. He was exhausted. It'll exhaust you having to watch it too. It's the same play. All right. Playoff game. This is week 11 for us, which was pretty awesome. Okay, so we're using motion here. So it's that same motion we just showed you. We're still running GT to it. These guys shifted a little bit different. So you can see this linebacker's telling him, hey, man, you got to go blitz. That's fine. We don't care. If you want to go blitz because you're going to blitz the backside of our jet sweep, absolutely cool. You know what he didn't do? He didn't read a pulling guard and fit over the top and come over and fit some gap. Okay, so once again, we've got them doing things that benefit us. Honestly, those linebackers read that pretty well. They both stay home, the inside guys. But you can see they're in like a base cover 4 here. So they're all their secondary help's bailing. Okay, fine. We'll take contact at 12 yards with this bull in a china closet. We like it. We hand jet quite often. Jet is not an underused play for us. So they have to stay true to it. And it's just, we're not doing anything special that you guys aren't doing. But this is a whole bunch of tags to get this formation set up, to get this guy jet. I don't know if this is a same side. No, it's not. He goes regular. Sometimes we'll have our running back. They shift pre-snap every time. So they line up pistol, pre-snap. They're going to shift away from the direction the ball goes. Generally, that's our base play. Then we'll same side them. They'll shift the opposite and then just stay on that side. So I kind of thought maybe that happened here. But base GT, let your dude do the work. But that motion gives us a little bit of help with just getting people to stay home. 28 here could have fit and made the play. The guy on the backside is blitzing himself out of the play. Great deal. That's the same home run ball. So let's move on to our shifts package. All right, so this is we are trading all of our tight ends, and so you'll see there we have basically two H-backs and a tight end in the game, which for us is actually just 3 tight ends, and we just kind of use them all the same. But we're drawing attention. We got people moving, and look at this linebacker on the end or this defensive end, whatever he's pretending to be. Okay, very, very good team, by the way. Great team. I think this was week 1, and they beat us 13-6 or something. Coach team. But, you get all this motion. Watch, he's trying last minute. Hey, can we get moved? To communicate, he's having to yell and scream. This is what we want. We want you having to over communicate between 14 and 18-year-olds. It generally doesn't happen well. Okay, here they fit it pretty well. Once again, this team probably had us outmatched at 8, 9, 10 positions on the field at any given time. We just run base GT. Honestly, if we follow our wrapper here, this might go to the house. If he can just stay out here on that hip, he's got a pretty good setup. But we get a little impatient. We hit it inside. We will always take 5, 6 yards. I'm not going to tell him any different. So here's a shift. Okay. So now we're pre-snap shift where we had them all stretched out. This is actually what we call our 5 package. I think 5 wide receivers on the field We've taken the tailback out, I believe. I don't see him anywhere. There's no tight end types, really. It's just our five best skill kids. Sometimes that is going to be our running back. Sometimes it is going to be one of our tight ends. We start them out wide, then we compress them. We make those guys have to check. Now you started empty. Oh man, now what are you checking into? Okay, are you still in your 3x2 or are you going to something else? You can see the coaches yelling from the sideline. Once again, doesn't go great. Then we use motion as well. Just run GT counter. Let an athlete make a play. And I don't know how many yards. What, 15 yards, 20 yards? I don't know. He got a bunch, okay? But, we like to think that all that, number one, we're pretty good at GT counter to begin with, and then we added all this other stuff and protected our base. This pre-snap motion, you've got to be on. You have to honor it. We're going to hand it. We're going to toss it. If it's behind us, we're going to do things with it. And then sometimes we're just going to leave it home and run the base play. Here you can see we're in 11P. So we're just going to, so notice how many motions or shifts we're going to have here. So we started in 2x2 11P in pistol. We shift over to 3x1 11P. We shift our back over to the play side. And we had a tendency with that this year. We knew that when the back shifted kind of that sidecar, we had a tendency there. Then we shift down into a condensed set. And then we miss this extremely easy pitch. But if you look at everybody is headed this way, right? You can kind of see everybody's the front of their jerseys instead of the back, except maybe one dude over there. And I bet we have somebody going home for him. Notice that underneath it's just GT counter. Okay. So if he catches that, probably a home run ball. Maybe he gets hawked down. I don't know. But we've opened the lane up. We just missed the pitch. Once again, I told you at the beginning of this, not everything is a 10 out of 10 play. Not everything's a home run. But you can see the purpose behind it. This is week 1 of the playoffs, okay? So it's week 11 for us. This is a very good team. The only team that had beat them, I think, to this point was the state champion from the class just below us. So there was 2 teams, and the other one went on to be state champions of our class, if I'm not mistaken. So they had 2 losses before this, and they were either state champions or runner-up in the very similar classes. And then we came to town at 6-4 and beat them on their home turf. Pretty handedly. So once again, great team. That coach was amazing. I think he's moved on since then. Weirdly enough, my nephews are both on the field here. I got the coach against 2 of my nephews here, so that was pretty awesome. Hated one of them's a senior, and I ended his high school career, but it is what it is. Uncle Daniel's got a job to do.
No, for sure.
I think we're back at the top there, so we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, so here we're going to talk a little formation tags. So we do a lot of weird stuff. So here you can see we got people kind of stacked, okay? And now we're going to move him all the way across. So we get shifts and motions going all over. Okay, there's our jet sweep. Now this is more of less of a jet sweep, more of like an RPO read for us on this one, right? Obviously, we didn't snap the ball with him back there to jet it, but we've thrown enough RPOs. They have to play man. That's everyone's answer. Okay, so when he went, they had to stay man and go with him. Now we've taken 3 out of 3 out of the way over there. This guy's manned up. We're going to get his eyes turned or go block him. And it's a pretty easy game here. But we made all that shifts. We took all them people over here. We made you crowd the boundary for no reason at all. Then we move all of our bulk over. We change numbers. You have to change numbers. And now we're running right back where we started after you've evacuated all of your numbers there. Fast forward through all this. We've already seen it. Here we are, just base GT counter. Give your dude the ball. Pretty good block here. I want to say he got flagged for that block. I can't remember. But pretty honestly, if he just quits looking for a running back and just gets his hands on the dude, we tell him, go set them in the seats with their mama. They'll be too embarrassed to come back and play football. This team, he was probably outmatched there as well. But, we sell our wide receivers on blocks. We have a Raider of the week is what's Pirates. So, kind of Raiders. And we make those guys good blockers, make them want to block. But there you go. Base GT counter. We just did some shifts and motions, did some complex stuff, but it simplifies football for those front 5, the guys that matter. A lot of views of the same place. All right. So here's our formation tag, right? So now we are in Technically a 2-by-2 formation. And I know you're saying, Coach, that's 5 kids on one side of the ball. Yes, I know. He is my left outside receiver. He is my running back. One of these cats, I believe, is an H-back. I think it's this one. Okay, and so what we've done is taken a 2-by-2. We have a tag that sends our outside receiver over. We have a tag that sends our halfback out there. Okay, and so now we end up with, so maybe this was 3-by-1. I don't know. But now we have a 5-by-0 empty set, and you got to figure out how to block it. You're going to see an RPO here, and I mean, honestly, if we just wing it out there, we probably have numbers. I think we got a little skittish. This is a really good team. Like I've said multiple times, they were no one to be fooled with. They've been lighting us up all night long. It was a very physical game. Quarterback got a little skittish here and decides he's going to pull it and go. Notice that we're running GT counter away from all this. We've just made you move all of your manpower out here to get numbers, to make sure that you're not out leveraged. And then as gap scheme does, we just shift a gap over to the other side and go play football. If he stays inside, this is week 1. If he knows by here, hey, follow that big butt right up in there. Once again, he's probably going to get something done. He does not. He tries to bounce a kick. Guys, if you bounce a kick, it's never going to end well. Show your players this clip. Hey, you can do this really fun thing, but if you bounce the kick, it doesn't matter. But the lane was there. We had done what we wanted to. We had a purpose behind all of it. Very complex for week 1. Our kids can pull it off, and they were a flexbone team last year. Maybe it'll get around to the play here eventually. All right, so this is a tag that we like to use our inside receivers. So our slot receiver is our second best player on the team probably, okay, especially when it comes to skill dudes. And you notice our monster's not even in here, I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's our backup running back. Anyway, we have a tag that brings our inside receiver and tells him to come play sidecar, okay? He can keep rules. We can change his rules. Sometimes he keeps pass routes. Sometimes he run and block. Sometimes he runs the ball. We do a lot of stuff with him, and those are all individual tags. Once again, very complex. Very simple up here. They don't care what all you say. Okay, you can run an NFL-style offense and tag every receiver's route. They don't care. You said GT counter, and that's all they care about. Turns out we get an RPO out of this one too. You can see the pivot there. So it is a play side RPO. And we replaced our RPO with this. So in this case, he did keep his RPO rules. So he's going to go be the RPO to the back side of the play. We got this one to the front side of the play. And you notice we're still just running GT counter. But we pull it and throw it this time. So if you're thinking like, Coach, that's a lot going on. You're right. It is, man. Okay, it absolutely is. We have rules over here that these kids all have to know. We have rules over here that these kids all have to know. These kids do not care. They're going to run GT counter every time. If the ball's there, the running back hangs onto it and tries to get as many yards as he can. If it ain't, he picks up a block. He understands that play is going to be open more times than not because of all the chaos. I think this is the exact same play. Sorry, this is that huddle thing where you record it with 3 cameras and then you end up with a lot of angles and you don't know what to do. All right, so 3-by-1, we've got 2 people on the line of scrimmage. We know he's covered up and can't run a route. We also know that he doesn't know that and he doesn't know that. We also know that he can step backwards and catch a ball and still take a bubble to the house. So you've got to pick your poison over here. Who are you going to block? Who are you going to treat like a receiver? Who's just an extended tight end? And what are you going to do about it? Covered up players don't matter in our system. Now we get motion from the backside. Notice they still have a safety over the top. They still have a corner out here that was on him that's slowly moseying back in. They still have an outside backer that was walked down. So they have 3 people outside of my tackle on the backside. I have no people over there. I end up in 4-by-0 with a tailback that's going to run the rock. So we've changed numbers. They didn't. If he hands this off, is it a successful play? Probably. We can get GT blocked up pretty good there. This outside backer blitzes. It kind of draws our eyes. Not a super disciplined play here by us. Okay. But we hit the RPO to the front side and let a dude do dude things. Now, I'm going to tell you something, a funny story here about this kid. I think he ran for 10 touchdowns this year, and he doesn't have a single touchdown in the stat line, because we held on every single one. So
My goodness.
even when you get the ball to your dudes and they do things, sometimes mistakes happen, right? Fundamentals matter still at the end of the day, players and fundamentals. But just want to point out here, we have numbers. Okay. We can block it up. He's got to beat one guy. We're going to beat him with leverage and just get outside of him. Pretty simple, complex concept. Once again, we just ran GT counter underneath, and we tagged up a whole bunch of other crap with these kids that are divas that have just ran a lot tonight, but they haven't had to move mountains. Same play. There we go. All right, so now we were in a, what is this, 2 personnel, 0-2. We don't have a running back. I believe we're 2 tight ends here. Everyone else is wide receivers. Odds are that that's our running back right there. So we tagged him to go play an inside wide receiver, okay? So now what do we get? Well, we get to bring to the table this chaotic empty set where you've got 2 tight ends on the field. So you're going to block, or you're going to call an empty defense, right? You're going to try to go back and do that. Or you're going to call something for this, essentially a 12 personnel set. And then we're going to run GT counter out of it with the quarterback. Here he hits it too far inside. I just want him to read this and go home. But, you know, it's still high school players at the end of the day. So he gets hit pretty hard there. But the play is there. Getting to our very first super duper counter play. So we're going to have a pull to kick, pull to wrap, pull to wrap. So you'll see him following that, that second wrapper. So once again, if he just gets out and follows, he'll do a lot better. So there's our first example of a super duper counter. Once again, that's just a tag. Okay. In a 12 personnel package with a tag moving him out. Now we've tagged this super counter thing, but everyone just gets it because those guys up front have had to run one play theoretically all night. They just keep running GT counter. So if we get back to the top here. All right, we may have just hit the super duper counter area here. Super counter, okay? So, pretty standard formation. I believe we have a tight end and an H-back, so we're 2x2. I'm running that. Some people call it flex or whatever you want to call it. But tight end wing away from twins outset. So once again, you have to pick, are you going to come over here and defend the pass-heavy side? Well, by this point, guys knew our quarterbacks weren't the best. They were going to defend the run. And so we had to think of other ways to get around it. So we start running quarterback super counter here. How'd we set this up? Well, we told you about our tendencies when our tailback would come out to the side, right? When he lined up in sidecar, which we don't do very often. We had a tendency. So these guys all know it. We've got the doubled up, extra surface there. Look at all of the people that they've got on that side of the football. Well, that just tells us that if we can get it backside, get it back over here to the twin side, we're going to be okay. So at the point that we hit our kick, we are +1, and there's really no one for him to go block. He picks up a safety. Quarterback totes the rock for a pretty good little gain here. And I think we've seen this play. Let's see. Oh, we have not. All right, so now we've got another, you can see that we have 2 wide receivers that are on here again. Excuse me. So we've got that tag set in. You see everybody's kind of stacked here. So this is another tag we're using, right? So you can hear it's like we're just using lots of tags, but to the kids, there's not a lot going on here. Once again, this is a 2x2 or a 3x1 formation that we've ran a ton of. We tag it to get a receiver over, and now we're going to send our tailback out here on a flare. Okay. You have numbers. Maybe if you count this cat, depending on what they do post snap, we probably could have just tossed this ball out here and went for however many yards we wanted. But we're comfortable running GT counter. We're never going to get mad at them for just running the run play. Okay, and everything works out okay. I think we get another 5, 6, 7 yards here. I don't know if that was super counter. I don't think so. We had tight end away. Oh, no, we didn't. We didn't have a tight end at all. It was just regular GT counter. All right. We're going to get back to the beginning. Sorry, guys. This, man, when it goes to multi-cameras and, like, I have some of the film on some of them, I can't shut a camera off or an angle off because then we'll lose entire plays. You still got me, Coach?
Yeah, the
Okay.
your huddle thing just froze. I don't know why.
Is it back now?
No, it's not moving. I don't know why.
Yep, that's okay. I'll just I'll stop sharing and I'll share it again. Sometimes it just needs to be reset, and that's absolutely okay.
Oh, you're smarter than me. I would freak out and be like, what's going on?
Man, the freak out ain't worth it. There we go. I assume you can see it now?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right, so you can see last minute, this dude running over here is our backup tailback, right? So we've now used our tag to get him over to the side. So now we went from a 3-by-1. Notice we have a ton of space out here. This is how we run all of our formations. We want a lot of space. We want to make this kid pick. Is he going to come over and defend that guy, or is he going to sit in here and play the run, and we're going to make him wrong a lot of the times. Here we make him shift to an empty check, but it's just the same thing. We're just running GT counter. Okay, and here you can truly see how our answer. A lot of people ask, like, how are you going to pick up all those kids? Well, you create the wall. You let this guy be right. Okay, so we're not worried about those defensive ends and stuff on the backside. If they run down your athlete or your quarterback, maybe he shouldn't be in that run game, and that's okay. We like ours. We like to let him run a lot. You'll see that we have two different quarterbacks here too, guys. We run a true two quarterback system, and we split those guys by tags, not by series, not by number of plays, run pass. No, it's simply tags. So they learn, hey, I'm in charge of any play that the tailback comes out of the backfield. Great. Then he knows he's going in the game. So yet another complex system, but it makes us much more lethal. Should get back to the top here pretty soon. I think we're back at the top now. All right, so we're back in that full house picture that we showed you earlier, right? We've ran this formation several times. We're going to move this back out. Earlier, we threw this to him. If you'll remember, I think we're playing the team in green, okay? This time, we're just going to run the GT. Once again, not a great play. I think we get 3 yards maybe after that very, very mean human being pushes through. Look at that. They're still giving us yards. Maybe we end up with 5 yards off the play. But we did make kids make decisions. Now, this is the answer we start getting, and we have answers ourselves. We'll start seeing kids knife through there. Just know that the old stock and go it's coming. There's the other view and another view. All right. So one of our tags here is, we like to change our mesh a lot. And so what you're going to see here is, sometimes we'll let the running back cross the quarterback's face, and then he'll get downhill backside. Sometimes we're going to tag up, let the running back lead block. Sometimes he'll go the opposite way and the quarterback will take it this way. We like to do a lot of games with our mesh, okay, because it makes us just more successful, honestly. So here, that's what we've done. Okay, we set up our tight end is here to the field, to our twins. We've got a 3-by-1 setup going on. Okay, we got our back set aside. I already told you about the tendencies we've had there. I think that's our running back there. And then he's going to show GT counter to all this mass. They've moved some kids over. And then we just pull the other way. Somehow our pulling tackle was confused. I'm still not sure how that, our guard. And then I have to show you this because I just realized that's this play. I have all my details hidden for some stupid reason. So this is my guard.
Your huddle froze again.
Oh, no. Okay.
I'll take the blame. I don't know why.
It's all right, man. Try it one more time here. or, any number of times we have to try it. I'm absolutely okay with that. Back now?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. All right. So we have a guard there with the yellow mark. This is a tight end. Here's my center. So what we've done here is gone tackle over. Okay. So now we went 3-by-1. We made you see all that, but we move a tackle over to the other side. So we just get that unbalanced look. And then we run GT into it. So now I get an extra down block, an extra surface that's just a true blocker. Okay. I get a pull to kick. And then I have an athlete as my pull to wrap guy. So if your tackle's not very athletic, you can still get this nice pull to wrap. Not to mention the misdirection in the backfield. And you see we still have the RPO at the top. So see how our base rules are still in place. We're tagging this thing up pretty complex. And then our offensive line is still just running the exact same play. A little bit here more, Coach. I know that we're probably running out of time. I don't.
Oh no, you're good.
Too long. Okay, so here we are. We've tagged this bad boy up. This is kind of our rendition of the go-go offense. Okay, so now we have 2 inside receivers and a running back here with our quarterback, and determined by play or maybe whatever we've schemed up that week. This can be 3 kids in a line beside the quarterback. It can be split 2-1 or 2-1 on either side. It's kind of a variation of our full house, even where 1 guy's on each side and our tailback's just back there. Okay, so what does this let us do? Well, they just sometimes, like I said, they keep their rules. So we're going to run GT counter up front. He would have blocked most nearest threat or most dangerous. He's just going to run his bubble RPO. So back, and he's going to block out here. So we showed you a crazy formation, but our kids are still just doing one thing. They're not changing anything. Their alignment is different, and that's it. So what do we get? Well, this time we get an RPO to throw. Was it the right read? I don't know. In this case, probably not. They pulled the trigger pretty quick, and our GT counter hits pretty good up front. But, some of the reason it's so cleared up, as you can see, and this is a testament to the protect your base. They're worried about all of this. So look at this kid is already running. This kid is hesitating, wanting to work outside. This kid's worked outside. Okay, so we've got what can be probably a cutback lane if we hand this, but it's because these kids are worried about all this motion coming out here because we're protecting our base with a lot of chaos. All right, so here's kind of the same thing. We see it going the other way now. So we've got 2 people here. We got 1 in the backfield. So once again, kind of our version of the go-go offense. I think this time it's both inside receivers or maybe even a tight end in there. And it hits a little bit cleaner this time, okay? We'd been hitting them, gouging them with some counter stuff inside, GT, GH, using these formations. Obviously, I don't have it all on here right now. But you can see that every one of these kids committed to stop the run. There's not a kid there that said, I'm worried about these 2 white jerseys that are flying to the outside. So we let one of our best dudes catch a ball, go make some yards. All right. So I want to cover the super duper counter a little bit more here. And then Coach, I'll be done with it. But so this is the same one we saw earlier. Okay. We're just running that. We've got the GT and a Y all pulling. He doesn't fit that very well. That is a way that we do it. I think we have some other versions, if I'm not mistaken. So here it is again. Now we're handing off to our stud running back, who honestly isn't even as patient as he could have been here. If he's a little more patient and follows that last puller, you may get out here and fit better. But at this point in the season, we had been beating them over the head with do not bounce the kick of it. So he just kind of beats the kick, honestly. Then he's got his wrappers to follow, and he's going to stick it up in there. We get 10 yards on the play. Sorry, a little bit of check with me. We don't do a lot of check with me, but sometimes we do. Okay, so there it is again. And I thought he got loose. Oh, yeah, this one gets called back on a ridiculous holding call. Wide receiver blocked him so good that he was still blocking him when the running back ran him over. Got his holding call, but you can see it. I mean, it's just looking at how we're doing it. We're getting the Y in the mix. We're still running an RPO backside, so base rules still stick. This guy has to stay. This guy has to stay. This guy has a decision to make. We can usually make him wrong. In this case, they use that man stuff to take away our RPOs, which is fine because we're going to get you in other ways. And we just kind of run it up in there. And we'll make the last one here, Coach. So here you can see we do it with a Y off look. So I know, this is actually, I think this ends up being super duper. We should have, let me see who runs the ball. I can't quite tell. Like I said, my screen's a little small tonight. All right, so what we've done here is we've gone tackle over again. So we've got tackle, guard, center, guard, tight end, H-back. Okay, so we've used our tackle over tag to make you pick, but then we still put all the hog mollies back here with the extra surface with a double tight end. So we're going to make you pick what you want to do. We're just going to run our super duper counter up inside. So we saw this play earlier as well. I didn't realize at the time it was tackle over, but yeah, man. So that's what we're doing. So we just do it. Like I said, it's a lot of complex tagging. It's a very complex system, but we use it to simplify football for the guys that matter. I think the guys that matter are your offensive linemen. If you can simplify football for them, like this year, I'm probably going in with 3 run plays. Right, I'm probably going to run a little GT, a little GH, and duo. And I'm going to make you fit those perfect every time, which is hard enough as it is at high school level. But I'm going to make you watch all of this other chaos. So my offensive line are going to run 3 run plays, and they're going to learn 1 pass pro. And we're going to make you wrong with all the other chaos. With the kids that I don't want to imply that offensive linemen can't learn, okay? But they're busy down there, right? They're tired. They're moving. They're body movers. They're moving them all night long. And so we just let the kids who are kind of, like I said, divas that are hands off, they learn the complex stuff, and we found it to be very successful.
I guess I just have one quick question. You say complex, and the more you're saying it, I'm thinking it's more complex for the defense. When you took that over, was it hard for the kids to learn all of it, or did it become simple as more they did it?
No, it absolutely became simple. So we also limit our formations, and I've noticed that a lot of guys do tagging. They just don't realize it because they give every formation a new name, right? So we can show you 3x1 that's the same as 2x2, that's the same as empty, that's the same as because we tag it. So we get to limit a lot of other stuff. And so we're not eating up the first week of install trying to get 35 formations in, right? We're going to get in 5, 8, maybe 10, but we generally don't. And then we don't use them all throughout the year. We change, we rotate through those. And so the kids get to where they're running 5 formations a week. And then each kid needs to learn 3 to 5 tags. So after that, man, it's game on. They know it all. And it's very modular, right? So I can run the same tags week to week with different formations, with different play calls. The kids don't have to learn a bunch of new stuff. And so it became simple for them. Like I said, last year they were flexbone. They ran tight end on the right and tight end on the left. and this year you can kind of see everything they were running. I mean, we didn't even get to the fact we're running GH. We are running duo. We're running outside zone. I don't think we showed a single handoff on the jet sweep tonight. But that's something we're running. And then, probably 5 to 8 passing plays, maybe. I don't even know that we got that many in this year because once again, we just tagged the crap out of it. So we start, you get into where you live in that world and it's very modular. So I can run 4 verts with a tag that makes inside wide receiver out and up or whatever, right? I can change what he does, but I can use that same tag in 3 different pass plays. So it just simplifies football, simplifies learning, in my opinion. I'm not even I don't know how exactly, but the kids I think it's just more fun. I've gotten into trying to make football fun. We had a coaching on staff this year that was his senior year, was last year, the year before last. So he was part of that flexbone world, that exact same team. And he was just like, man, do I wish we could have been running this. This is so much more fun, right? So the kids they will learn more because 1, you expect it of them, but 2, they're having a blast. And it makes life easy.
Right, because I saw all the shifts and movement you did. Just looking at it, you're like, oh my gosh, that's got to be. You keep saying complex. That's got to be really difficult. But I think if all the kids know each motion, each this, you can make anybody. I believe in that. Like, hey, you guys have to know these four motions: jet, fly, whatever you want to call it. And if you know it, and we can tag you like H here, X here. But if you're doing a run play or an RPO, like what would you have done over here while you're doing it over there?
Right.
So it becomes complex looking, but it can be simple, especially with reps, is what I think.
Yeah. I'm pretty notorious for breaking down our offense from a defense's point of view. So acting like I know nothing. And there was 1 week this year that I want to say we ran like 42 formations.
Wow.
We ran 5 formations that night. You know what I mean? Like it just becomes so much for the other side of the ball to handle. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I appreciate you, especially after a long work day, coming on and presenting all that.
Yeah, man, that's a blast, Coach. I love it. I look forward to go back and watching some of these shows from today. I unfortunately was at work and missed them all, but hopefully we can get a link somewhere I can go back and watch.
Oh, they're all on YouTube. They'll be there forever unless YouTube kicks me off, but they'll be up there forever.
Perfect.
Well, I appreciate you, Coach.
Yeah, man. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out. Twitter is mainly where you can find me, at Coach Chambo OK. You can DM me there. You can tag me in your fun videos. I don't care. Follow me. We'll get together. I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Chamberlain Football Consulting. So that's my little side hustle where I try to teach part of these tags or teach coaches just wherever you need help. I've gotten into graphic design a lot, so I've done a lot of graphic design work over there. Sometimes we just get together and have a conversation. We use the Marco Polo app on one tier of the Patreon where you're literally in my pocket with me and my friends. It's 4 of my closest friends on there and a couple coaches who've signed up, and you're going to watch us talk a little crap. You're going to watch us talk about my goats, and then we're going to talk some football on Friday nights, right? So it's a pretty good time. You can find that over on patreon.com/Chamberlain Football Consulting.
Perfect. I'll try to put that in the description also. So everybody check him out. It's good stuff. And the 2 podcasts you do, with Kenny Simpson and
yeah, the football coaching podcast. That was my first home, my first love. It's been about 4 years. And then the Coaching 101 podcast is the newer one with the Kenny Simpson. We're about 2 years old now, so we've got quite a bit of stuff over there.
Yeah. All right, Coach, I appreciate you for this.
Yeah, man. Hey, thanks for the invite, buddy. It was a wonderful time. Thank you so much.